All right, guys, welcome to the No Guilt Holiday Method. It is December. We have a tough month on our hands. In our program, I noticed that a lot of people are doing good, but as human beings, we're gonna make mistakes. We could spiral, and everyone in the world is gonna start January 1st. New year, new me. If you're here today, that means that you wanna get ahead of that. And I think that if you can make some sort of progress, have some systems in place for December, you will do so good in your health and fitness journey because it's not a 1 month thing. You want to be healthy and fit for the rest of your life, right? You want every year, you want to feel better and better and better. So, how can that happen? That means you have to change your identity as a person. And if you can just tackle December the best you can, and the way I tell everyone is you don't have to be perfect. Let's say last December you were here. If you're just a little bit better this December, you're starting to put the building blocks in place to create a better version of you. And so I'm going to give you some tips, some tricks, systems that I've used to help my clients, what I use myself, what we use all the time, without really feeling like you're restricting yourself.
And I'll start by saying, of course, you guys know this is Arsh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's the coach, and I'm his wife, Sheena, and I create a lot of the recipes, and we work together, and we've been supporting a lot of people. So we have some good information and some tips and tricks that can help you guys during the holidays.
Yeah, 100%. So the no guilt method is exactly what it sounds like. You want to enjoy your best life without guilt, right? So what does that look like? And what we're gonna quickly just go over in this session today is why typical diets don't work for our culture. Our culture is South Asian. Like we got cousins, we got family, we have
Events
events.
every weekend, like two, three events a weekend. We're so busy. There's a lot of food. Like, how do you work around this?
Yeah, so like you can't follow a boring diet. And so people get stuck in that. Am I on my diet or am I not on my diet?
Mhm.
That's a mental burnout waiting to happen. So I'm gonna explain why it doesn't work. A couple of steps to kind of stop the all or nothing. Some smart steps that you can start utilizing right now. And then a couple things to avoid the emotional guilt eating. December is a dark, cold month. We have these highs with parties and then it drops when we get home, and you can sometimes get stuck in that spiral. And at the end, just kind of how to handle family pressure as well, because that's something that no one talks about.
Mhm.
Family pressure is very important.
Is there a way for everyone to ask questions?
Yeah, you guys can ask any question you want in the questions and answer box at the bottom of the Zoom call. There is a open Q&A. So go ahead and ask any question you have at any time, and I'll answer your questions the best I can and give you any support you need. So I'm gonna go over some few little tactics and tips and tricks, but you guys can ask questions at any point, okay? So I'll leave the question and answer box there. So let's start off with why traditional diets they fail us. Everyone here, if you've been on your health and fitness journey, you know that we don't have an information problem anymore. We have an application problem. And if you've tried using now new tools like ChatGPT and even the traditional Google, it depends on how you ask the question to that, it'll spit a new answer out to you. So like the example I always use is, are people Google, are different foods healthy? But what does healthy mean? Because nowadays, healthy doesn't mean eating out and junk food and eating at home. If you're trying to lose fat, if you're trying to speed up your metabolism, you need to eat the right amounts. And that's what we are trying to teach. I teach this in my program, and if you're not in the program, this is something you need to learn about. And what this enables you to do when you actually learn for your body type what to eat, you can still have your favorite food. We're gonna probably order pizza tonight. Like tonight is pizza night for us today in this household. Imagine you don't know how to eat pizza and make it fit into your life. That's like a lot of guilt and mental turmoil that's gonna hit you. And if you have been trying to work on yourself for a few weeks or a month or two now, or even longer, you know that instant guilt and anxiety, that how it hits you, and it can be very overwhelming. So you just gotta learn a few things that enable you to eat more food. What we all want in this world, and especially in our culture, is freedom. We want freedom with food. December is a good example, but how about the next wedding season? How about your office Christmas parties? How about all these places? You know how tough it is when we go there and not eat the foods we like. So this is why traditional diets they don't fit our culture and lifestyle. we have to learn something called macros. And I know you probably been hearing that a lot, but macros just basically means there's every food is made from three things: protein, carbs, and fats. And every food has that. So when you start learning your numbers, you can start eating some pizza. And I'll use pizza as an example. Pizza is higher in fat, it's pretty like normal in carbs, and it's a little bit low in protein. So because you start learning that skill set, you kind of understand if my night to night is going to be higher in fat, my daytime on my toast in the morning, maybe I don't need a full avocado. I'll go for half an avocado because avocado is fat. So this is like the building blocks, the puzzle you need to learn, and it takes away the emotional charge of food.
Mhm.
And so traditional diets will never teach you this. They're just going to give you a meal plan. They'll say handful of protein and broccoli and dry chicken. Who can live like that? Nobody. It's very tough. And so you end up in a guilt binge cycle. No one wants to be there. It's a downward spiral, and that bleeds into your whole
I
life.
think the problem is that we weren't ever taught, not in school and not at home, about how we should eat a balanced diet for our lifestyle. None of us learned this. So everyone's just winging it. You're waking up every day, you're going to work, you have your life, you're winging it. And for some reason, you feel like you're trying so hard, but you're not seeing results. So the traditional ways that we've been taught to do things, they're not working for us.
Yeah, and balance isn't only in that meal. And I always teach my clients how to zoom out as well. If you're gonna have a high fat dinner like pizza, in the daytime, you can balance it with some low fat, high protein things. So balance can be on the meal level, it can also be on the day level. And if you're a little bit more advanced, it can be on like the week level. You have a couple of heavy days of eating. If you know the macros and the calories and what I coach, you can have a couple of bad days, a couple of good days, and start evening it out. And then you always stay on track.
Mhm.
That's what I want you guys to all learn. I don't want you to follow another boring diet where you think health and fitness is about living and eating foods you don't like. So the reason why December is so important, guys, you have to realize the mindset first of all. You're not a victim to parties. It's just a matter of how you show up. The excuses are always coming up and going, right? People always like, "Oh, time is an excuse for me." But also parties can be an excuse for you. So one thing I want you to think about when it comes to parties, to get your mindset right. If you have 5 parties in December, pick and choose, zoom out like on a calendar, pick and choose which parties do you need to drink or eat more at, and which parties can you kind of just low key get through it and just like take it easy. This is another way of balancing. So everything is balanced. Balance meals, balance your calendar as well. If you learn how to balance your calendar, I guarantee you, parties don't really affect you anymore. An example for us is we have like a really tight-knit cousins family Christmas dinner coming up in like on December 20th. I know that day on December 20th is going to be really a heavy day of eating. So what am I doing? I'm zooming out. Yesterday went to another party, and that was not a day that I wanted to overeat because I picked and choose where do I really want to spend all my calories, right? So if you learn how to zoom out, that's tactic number one. Learn how to zoom out, you're going to start attacking December and start winning finally, because holidays, they're just a test of your impulse. Learn how to control your impulse. That's number one. Okay, you don't need more information, you need more impulse control. And so when you zoom out, that's tactic number one. Number two, let me give you a few tactical steps to win December. So you need to learn about protein stacking. So the pre-game protein stack, I call it. If you're gonna go out somewhere and you're gonna have a heavy day of eating, and there's gonna be a lot of food that's gonna tempt you. How can you get on the right side of things?
Mm.
The number one thing to do is make sure that you leave your house, but before you leave your house, you eat some sort of a high protein snack. This is gonna stabilize your blood sugars. This is gonna put you back in control, and it's gonna give you that level of satiety. You're gonna have more fullness in your stomach. You don't want to go to any parties and just feel completely unhinged and you need to eat a lot of food.
Most of us, like before we started all this, I think most of us, before we go to parties, we go there hungry because we're ready to eat. So I'm not going to eat anything before that because I'm going to go eat at the party. But the problem with that is that your blood sugars have dropped. Now you're hungry. anything and everything that's put out at this party, because we have the appetizers, we have the chips and dip, we have the mains, we have desserts. Anything that's put at the party, you're gonna go for it and you're gonna eat it because you went to that party starving. So the strategy is that before you go to an event, you have something that's higher in protein, a snack that's going to fill up your stomach, stabilize your blood sugar. So when you go to that party, you now have self-control. You're
Yeah,
not starving. When all those appetizers are all out there, you're not reaching for every single one. You can pick a few. You can have your plate not loaded up where you're trying to balance your plate because you didn't go there hungry.
yeah. That's very important. But when you get to the party, what do you do? And I think every event and function in December is basically a buffet, right? So next thing I'm going to teach you guys is my buffet protocol. The buffet protocol will help you get through any type of like it's kind of like a potluck style. Like everyone has like a bunch of meals. Like we always eat a bunch of different things at once, right? There's like desserts, there's dinner, there's appetizers. The buffet protocol basically means you build your plate based on protein. And I know sometimes protein is boring to eat at a party, but build your plate with the majority of it being protein. So like protein doesn't have to be dry, bland chicken. You could have like barbecue chicken. You can have what's more protein
You
options?
can have like if they have some sort of paneer or tofu, you could put some cheese on your plate.
Yeah.
That's a good protein source as well.
Make sure your first plate has protein. Don't ever let your main plate, like when you sit down and eat, don't make that whole thing a bunch of carbs.
Yeah.
I'm not someone that thinks carbs are the devil. Like I think carbs are very important for you, but there's a time and a place. So if you're starving and you go to a party and you start eating a bunch of carbs right off the bat, this is gonna make you get like really sleepy. It's gonna dip your blood sugar levels, and it's gonna make you get on this roller coaster where you keep eating because now you're not satiated either, and you get put on this roller coaster. And on the end of the roller coaster, you're gonna be passed on the couch sleepy, and I don't want you to be there. So make sure you eat the protein first. And so, a question is, what if protein is deep fried? Is that okay? That's a great question. Here's the thing I would say to that if protein is deep fried, then you have to not eat that much of it because deep fried protein, you got the protein in the middle and you got a layer of oil on top that's been fried. So if you overeat that, unfortunately, with all the oil comes a lot of fat. And that's gonna put you over as well. You want to get through these parties and kind of like keep a good head up, on your shoulders. But the oil is one of the most calorically dense things you can ever have in your life. So you can end up eating 300 or 400 calories of oil. 300 or 400 calories, if you start learning this game, could be like 4 slices of bread. It could be like 3 cups of rice. You can imagine how much more full you would feel off of that as opposed to oil. So if you have deep fried chicken, you're gonna end up eating more food because that oil, it doesn't really hit you in terms of keeping you full and you will overeat. So deep fried chicken is the one thing I would say like don't really go for.
Or
Um,
have less of it.
have
So
less of it.
instead of having 5 pieces, have 2 to 3 pieces and just reduce it. It still is some protein because sometimes you do go to events and they don't have like healthy grilled chicken there or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I think that I think that deep fried protein is a lot better than deep fried fat and deep fried carbs, though. So you're on the right track with that.
yeah.
But what I would do is I would have regular protein if there's something there like barbecue chicken or like I don't even know, like
Even if they have like chickpeas, like sometimes people have samosas and then they have like shole with it. If chickpeas is good too, because there's some protein there.
have some of that and then have the deep fried chicken after and just have a few bites. Don't fill up on it.
Yeah.
That'll help you. That's like my rule of thumb. Don't fill up on deep fried stuff. Like fish pakore, like that's deep fried. So I love fish pakore, I love chicken pakore, but like I have to realize it's really high in fat, so I kind of limit it. So you build your buffet plate according to that. And that's the buffet protocol. So first, before we leave the house, we have some sort of a high protein snack. This could be
Good.
Greek yogurt parfaits,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Greek yogurt parfaits, overnight oats, some protein powder. It could be like a simple chicken sandwich with some bread. Don't be
Yeah,
scared of
you could
carbs.
have a protein shake with like half a banana. You could do like some Greek yogurt, like vanilla Greek yogurt, and have it with like an apple, Greek yogurt with berries, like you were saying.
Yeah,
You could,
that's the pre. Then you got the event, which is the buffet protocol. Then number three, let's talk about alcohol because I think a lot of people have alcohol in the mix. What you gotta realize is alcohol, like one serving of alcohol, whether it's a beer or if it's like an actual drink, it's around 120 calories. So one thing you have to start thinking is how many drinks can you have without going over your calories. So like a rule of thumb for anyone, if you're not in my program and you don't know your calorie number, aim for like 2,000 calories a day during the winters. I would say that's kind of normal. For females, maybe like 1,700 calories. For males, 2,000, whatever. What you have to start thinking is like how many drinks can you have before you go over? So I think my rule of thumb is like have 2 or 3 drinks max per night. Why I say this? You're basically limiting your alcohol to like 500 calories. That's okay. You can work around that. Any more than that, now you're not going to have enough room in your day for other food like protein, and you're going to start getting the wrong side of things. And the second thing is you're gonna end up getting too intoxicated. You're gonna forget macros. You're gonna forget everything I said. You're not even gonna know my name by the end of this, and you're gonna forget and you're gonna overeat. I myself, if I ever get too many drinks, like I don't even care. I'm just gonna overeat. So I just limit my drinks now. And so we have to go with the flow of things. We can't go against it. It's like going against the stream. You want to go with the stream of the river. You don't want to go against it. So when we start drinking too much alcohol, you're not gonna be able to stay on your plan any longer. You're not gonna whatever thoughts you had in your head, they're gone. Like you're just gonna end up overeating. So wine and alcohol, yeah, right there. Um, Wine and alcohol. So alcohol actually with wine actually, wine, the thing is, it depends on what your goal is. Is your goal to get a quick buzz? If it is, then wine will give you a quick buzz. Anything will give you a quick buzz. But with wine, I feel like we can overdrink it because we just sip on more and more wine. You're not gonna really sip on like a spirit or a beer too much. Wine we can sip on. So you have to be kind of like figure out your sweet spot. 1 glass or 2 glasses of wine. So I think the rule of thumb applies to alcohol in general. 2 or 3 beers or 2 or 3 drinks or 2 or 3 glasses of wine, that should be max. Not 2 or 3 of each, but pick one thing and stick to it. And again, before you leave the house, have some protein. It does slow down fat burning. It also slows down protein synthesis. So if you had a workout that day and now you're eating and you're eating protein and you think you're gonna recover and build muscle, you won't until that alcohol gets cleansed through your system.
Yeah. Your basically your body prioritizes detoxing the alcohol out of your system before it will prioritize fat burning. So you could have been in a fat burning phase, but because you had the alcohol, your body switches into a detoxifying phase.
Yeah,
So it does slow down fat burning, you're right.
yeah. And I think on top of that, the biggest thing you want to do when it comes to any of these parties, you want to wake up the next day and you want to get back on track with it, whether it's like a walk or sweating it out. So drink water throughout the day. If, or sorry, drink water after every couple of drinks. So you work on that. I think we all get stuck with, I'm gonna drink a bunch of drinks and I'm gonna go home at nighttime and I'm gonna drink 1 glass of water before I go to sleep. That's not the right way to do it. Drink water throughout your party. Why this is gonna help you? It's gonna regulate your system so that the alcohol can be detoxed by the next morning.
Mhm.
And also, all this extra food that's around you, because you have water in your system now, your brain is made from water as well. You'll start thinking right again. Your hunger hormones get regulated, and there's a chance you won't end up overeating more than you could have if you didn't drink water. Guys, what I'm saying here isn't the sexiest of information. Drinking water is boring sometimes. We gotta do boring things in order to have an amazing result.
Yeah.
Any of this, health and fitness, a lot of it is being able to do boring things over and over again to get to something fun. If something fun for you is, I want to go on vacation and I want to look amazing, that is a really fun experience to have in your life. But the sacrifice has to be made with some boring things, right? So that's where it comes down to the tactical steps. Another question we got here is, do you need to choose between alcohol and dessert? I would say if you can, that's a really good kind of rule of thumb. I usually do that as well. Or the simplest thing is if you're gonna have alcohol and now there's dessert, if your partner is there or someone's there, have a few bites.
We just share.
You don't have to demonize anything.
Yeah.
If you, there's like let's just say like what's my favorite dessert at parties? It's probably like a panuki. You guys know what panuki is? A deep or a cookie with ice cream on top. You don't have to get the full panuki and you don't have to eat the full scoop of ice cream. Sometimes all we want is a few bites just to be like, oh, that tastes so good. So you can do that as well,
Yeah.
right? Everything doesn't have to be black and white. In December, You have to live in the gray area. You're a little bit on this side of the line, you're a little bit on this side of the line, you're a little bit on this side of the line. You learn how to walk the line. It's a balancing act, right? Um, yep, cool. Another question was never worked with a fitness coach. Unsure if it's the right fit. Just reach out to me on Instagram. If you feel like this information is useful for you, then that means that you're craving some more change in your life. And like I said,
I
there's
think
too
it's
much
a
information.
game changer for a lot of people because, like I said, nobody teaches us this. And for the longest time, there were fitness coaches out there, but a lot of them were focused on
Bodybuilding.
bodybuilding or like the Western world, right? Nobody talked about being Indian, about being brown, and like all the events we have, and we go places and we have all this food. And if I say no, my baby's gonna get mad at me, and like there's 100 other things that we have to worry about. So yeah, having a coach that's Indian is really
Yeah,
helpful.
because we got parties where like sometimes I'll have people that join my program and they'll be like, "Yeah, Arsh, I stopped drinking jaw. I stopped drinking this." I'm like, "I have jaw every morning. You need to still have your comfort things in life.
Yeah,
If you look forward to a cup of jaw, how can we help you get healthy and fit with jaw in your life?
yeah,
Everything is possible if you
yeah.
know the system." So I'm giving you tactical advice, right? What's the one variable that comes into place with all of this? Family and social pressure. So I'm gonna give you guys a few things to kind of think about because if every December you're never on your healthy fitness grind and now all of a sudden you go to someone's house and it's their party and they say eat this, eat that. I just made these shortbread cookies and like they're full of fat and you don't want them. The second you say, "Oh, I don't want that. I'm being healthy," they're gonna criticize you. They're gonna shoot negative energy at you. And why that happens, first of all, is because you're reminding them of something they're not doing. If you said that to another healthy and fit person, they'd look at you and say, "Oh, I got you, man. You're trying to be healthy and fit." But if you look at someone that's not healthy, that's not fit, and they just wanted this night to be just, they want to just lose themselves in food and alcohol, and now you're someone that's kind of shining the light on health and fitness, they're gonna resent you for that. So you have to learn how to have it in one ear, out the other ear, because you're gonna feel that negative energy come towards you. And so you have to get ready for that. You got to level your mindset up. And so the biggest thing is do not be a people pleaser throughout December. Please yourself only. I always tell my clients, you will be with yourself on your dying days. Nobody around you is going to be there. All these people that are pressuring you right now. It's you and you. Do not live that last thought in your mind with regret. So do what you got to do for yourself. Do not be a people pleaser. And that's easier said than done because we're always used to pleasing other people. So don't be a people pleaser. Their discomfort with whatever you're doing is not your story to carry. So you have to just have the confidence and know that when you go to sleep that night, the best feeling in the world is going to sleep that night with the peace of mind that you kind of stuck to your plan. That feeling, you cannot buy that feeling. It's an unmatched feeling. I think everyone that has a day that said they're going to do something and they follow through with it, you feel so good about yourself. And even the next morning when you wake up, you feel so good because you remember you stuck to your word. Or we wake up the next morning and we kind of have that guilt and anxiety again. So mental health does depend on what you do the day before as well.
Yeah.
Mental health can be something you can fix by holding a word to yourself.
Imagine like you have a friend or family member and they said that they were going to do something important for you. Maybe they're going to give you a ride tomorrow. You need a ride to go to work. And then they didn't do it. They never even showed up. And then you would be so disappointed. You'd be so upset because now they never stuck to their word, right? That same disappointment and feeling day in and day out when we fail ourselves, when we said that we were going to wake up and eat a healthy breakfast, when we said that we were going to go for a walk, when we said that we were going to exercise and we don't keep that word to ourselves, deeply and internally, we become disappointed with ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And what happens is your self confidence goes lower, your self dialogue goes lower. So little wins, doing little things by, okay, I'm going to go to this party next weekend. I'm not going to drink. And you didn't drink and you came home and you kept your word to yourself. You're going to feel so proud of yourself, right? It sounds funny, but that one instance, it starts building this self character, this person that you want to become.
Yeah, you in your mind 100% have a vision of who you can be. that potential, that version of you that feels better in their clothes, that version of you that maybe is a role model for your family. Along this path, it gets lonely, it gets uncomfortable, but you have to just walk that path because it does get dark. And so if you can stay on this path longer, you can be that first person in your family that leads the way. You can be the light that shines for everyone to follow because if you stick to your word long enough, then people start respecting you more and you give them permission to step into their power. If you tell everyone you're in a health and fitness journey and then you cave and you gain a bunch of weight, then they're going to start thinking that health and fitness is too hard as well. So, what you do does have repercussions, and you can either have positive ripple effects on your family, on future generations, or you can have negative ripple effects. Either way, there is going to be a ripple effect that you create, and it's in your hands to do what you got to do, right? So before we kind of wrap this up, what I want you guys to remember is you don't have to remove everything out of your life in December. You can learn how to replace things as well. Like you can learn how to replace high fat, high calorie chocolate bars with some amazing tasting protein chocolate bars. You can skip some chips and have some popcorn. But what you don't want to do in this month is starve yourself. You don't want to skip the chips and then also sit in the dark and not eat anything. So learn how to replace things. And if you need help with this, you can message me on Instagram. But there's a lot, it's 2026 almost. There are a lot of like example is like you don't like soda Coke, Pepsi, well, you can have Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi, right? And so there's always a way for you to still enjoy your life. If you're not enjoying your health and fitness journey, you're not going to stay on your path for very long. And that's why, especially in January, people fall off so quick because in January they go too extreme. And it's not a sprint, this is a journey. And when you go too extreme, you can't hold that pace any longer. And then you just stop and you go backwards. And then you that whole thing of regret and anxiety and not holding yourself, it starts bleeding into your confidence.
Yeah,
And then
because
you,
then you start to think, I can't stick to anything. I
yeah,
was only healthy for 2 weeks and now it's out the door. And those 2 weeks, like you say, it turns into a month and then 2 months and 3 months. And then before you know it, you're 6 months into the year and you didn't do anything,
yeah,
right? Because you were trying to be too perfect.
yeah. And I would say another thing is the most common mistakes I find in December are binge eating followed by fasting. Don't get stuck in that all or nothing again.
Yeah.
If you binge eat and then the next day you fast, what's going to happen is you're going to end up binging again because you didn't fuel your body right. So if you binge ate one night, the next day, go for a walk outside. You don't have to do intense cardio as a punishment because then you're going to have a bad relationship with everything. You think that every time you overeat, the next day you have to do intense cardio and punish yourself. You're stuck in that yo-yo again. So you want to, again, live in the gray area. If you binge eat one day, the next day just go for a simple walk outside. Get a walking pad for your house. They're like $100 on Amazon. Go get some steps in, help your digest system, and just start again like from fresh. Don't think that you have to make up for everything. Like that is the biggest mistake I see. Start drinking some water.
Like you're kind of almost like punishing yourself because you ate all that food the night before. Like, for example, we had like a heavier dinner last night, and this morning we were not feeling hungry, but we're not going to starve ourselves and punish ourselves for that. So we still ate breakfast, but we just had a smaller
Yeah.
breakfast. It wasn't that big. It was a smaller breakfast, but we still ate something.
Yeah, like if you binge eat and the next day you starve yourself, again, this blood sugar roller coaster you get stuck on is such a bad place to be in. By the time it hits noon, your blood sugars have dipped so hard that you don't have enough energy to fight for yourself and you're going to end up binge eating again. So I would, if I binge ate, I would the next day just have a high protein breakfast. And that's actually kind of harder. You know, fasting is the easy way out. That's why so many unhealthy people that have been fasting for years are overweight. If you're fasting and you're in amazing shape, you know what you're doing. If you're fasting and you still don't like the way you feel and look, you're doing it wrong. So it's harder to wake up next day and have a high protein breakfast. But sometimes that's the work you got to put in because now you balance your blood sugar levels. After the high protein breakfast, you might be able to get all the way till nighttime in a nice clean streak and have a nice dinner and just go to sleep. and now you've reset yourself. It does take a full day to reset yourself. You got to go to sleep again after a winning day to feel good again.
Yeah.
But if you lose again and then you lose again and you lose again, now you're like, I'm a loser. And then January 1st, you go into panic mode again. So you don't want to have that. Okay. Um, Question is 10,000 steps enough every day to stay on track? I would say that's an amazing goal. 10,000 steps is a very good sweet spot. If there's a day that you get 12,000 steps, great. If there's a day you get 8,000 steps, that happens too. So think of it as like a weekly average because sometimes you get 8,000 steps, sometimes you get 12, sometimes you get 10. Think of it as an average. What average can you hold yourself to? And with steps as well, you want to start early. If you have a step goal in mind and it's 6 o'clock at night and you have like 7,000 steps to hit, now you're overwhelmed again. So you want to break up your step goal into small little chunks to make it more digestible. So like by noon or by 2 o'clock, if you haven't really moved around enough, now you got to think, okay, I got to get like another 2 or 3 thousand steps in now so I can have another 2 or 3 thousand at nighttime and hit your goal.
Yeah.
Because even 10,000 steps can seem simple, but if you wait too long,
It's,
that can become overwhelming as well.
and 10,000 steps is just one example. Pick a number that you can stay consistent with because maybe if you're just starting out, 10,000 might be too much. Maybe 7 to 8,000 might be a better number for you. And then as you build that endurance, you can start increasing it to 10,000. Then you can be more consistent with that. Because sometimes we shoot for the stars and we say 10,000, and then maybe you did it for 2 or 3 days and you got really sore, and then you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you should have started with something a little bit more reasonable,
Yeah, that's a good
right?
answer. Okay, cool. So that wraps up what we want to talk about. If you guys are not in my program and you need help, reach out to me on Instagram. I will give you customized nutrition plan, workout plan. I help you with your mindset. I help you across the board.
What were you saying to me the other day? You're basically a coach for your like life. This
It's
is
like a life coach because along the way you slip. And sometimes it's not me telling you something tactical. It's me saying something to you that goes, I never thought of that way. And then you get back on track.
yeah.
And I give you certainty because a lot of times
Mhm.
we spend so long trying to figure things out. And then our body adapts and we plateau. And then we don't know what the next move is. We panic. And you want to avoid that. If you have goals for the next wedding season coming up or the next spring, and you want to go hiking with your family, you want to go vacation, or you want to buy some outfits, now is the time to step up for yourself because it takes time. If you want to do this the right way, give yourself enough time
Mhm.
so that you can walk to the finish line. Sprinting is where everyone can't keep that pace up, so I can set you up on the right path. But that basically concludes our masterclass here. I am doing a promo for any new clients. I'm giving $500 off. So if you are interested, now's the time to reach out to me. If there's no more questions that I haven't seen in the questions and answers box here, then I'll let you guys go. I appreciate you guys joining. Hopefully you guys got some good value and win December. December's a tough month. If you can win December, you will win all of next year. I guarantee you on that.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you.